Hey everybody, thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time where we can relax and craft for about an hour together. And we typically work on projects from beginning to end. And we are currently working on the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt along. You can find out more at thesplendidsampler.com. And it is New Block Thursday, and it is block 20, if you can believe it. So it's Big Sun by Lissa Alexander. Here is the block. A lot of piecing on this one, so we're going to get started tonight by cutting out the fabric. I can't believe this is block 20, you guys. That means after block 20 here, we're going to be starting from the actual book. So I just got my book in the mail last weekend. So the Splendid Sampler 2. For the first 20, they were all free. They're actually all on the cover here. We did a whole pile of them. So you can go to thesplendidsampler.com and download the free ones. But after the 20th one, which is today's, then I think they'll be coming out of the book afterwards. So they are just so cute. If you haven't gotten the book yet, it's on Amazon and everywhere else. You can go check the link that I have here, or just Google the Splendid Sampler or go to thesplendidsampler.com and get it from there. So, all right, guys, block 20, Big Sun. Let's give it a go. I'm going to flip you around and we'll pick out some fabric. Okay, so here is my fabric bin. So I have been using these pale yellow colors, but every 5 blocks or so, I've been picking from this little stash of bright colors. So every once in a while, I want like little bright colors of pops of color throughout the quilt, but I know myself, and if I didn't have rules, I would use all these fun bright colors. But I wanted to, for this quilt, attempt to just stick to these pale yellow colors and use a white background for everything. So that's kind of my challenge to myself. Like, can I stick to just a muted color palette? But I allowed myself every 5 blocks I can put a pop of color in. So it's block 20, so today's the day for our pop of color, and I think I have an idea of what I want to do for that. So I was just looking through the cutting instructions here, and they use a lot of, like, a variety, assorted colors for the different parts. So, like, for example, assorted cream print squares, and then there's the measurements. The assorted cream prints are all these background cream colors. I think I'm going to kind of merge things together a little bit, just for my own sanity, I think, in this block. And I think I'm going to just, everything that's cream, I'm going to stick to just white. Pat and Jane from the Splendid Sampler, they will still pick the ones that we're going to be working on. So I won't be picking them. The quilt along is still on thesplendidsampler.com. So I think they'll still be releasing blocks on Thursday. They might, I don't know if some of you guys here might know, if you guys have read it lately, but are there going to be 2 a week now? I'm not quite sure, and I don't really know how we'll handle that either, but I will not be picking the blocks, what order we go in. That will still be the Splendid Sampler. Pat and Jane from the Splendid Sampler will choose. And then that's great, because then if you go to the Splendid Sampler on Facebook and see all the what everyone's doing for that, like everyone's photos, then, you know, we'll still all be on the same page. But all right, so I think for all the creams, I'm going to stick to white, just because then I can still have my white background that I'm going for. And I think, so there's another assorted print color squares. So that is all of these little flecks of triangles in the background here, I think I'm going to stick to one color for those as well. So we're really only going to end up with 4 colors, I think. We're going to pick one for the middle, this yellow, then all of these assorted ones, I think I'll just choose another, and then we'll have this white for the assorted background color, just to keep it easy and straight in my head, and then we can just still have this kind of muted background. I think cutting will go a little faster. I think, you know, we're just going to play that game a little bit. So this is called Big Sun, and it looks like a sun, right? So I was kind of thinking that we could start with a bright color and kind of fade out to this white, because we do have quite a few, you know, we have all these neutrals. I thought that might be kind of fun, like do like a little gradient. So, you know, this is just right sitting on the top here. This could be, this is just like, you know, a little darker than the white. This could be all of these little flecks. That could be kind of cool. I'm literally picking from the top because these two just look good. Oh, we did this in the last block. That's why we did these two as our stripes together. But they go well together. I kind of like them. There's this option, but I don't know. I think this to this. Well, we'll see. And then I was thinking like the middle could be our pop of color. Like maybe this orange. That's kind of sunny. Here's something that's an actual pattern instead of just a solid. We could do, I mean, we could do something like that. I mean, that's kind of pretty, right? Then it's like if this was the center square, and then around it is this yellow, which could be this, and then it gets paler and paler till the white. I think that might be kind of neat. But do I like that better than this? I think a pattern for the middle. I do like this color, this kind of, I don't know. What do you guys like better? Do you like the flowers or this? I mean, this is maybe a little more subtle, which maybe is kind of nice. But yeah, print is just more fun, though, especially since it's a center print. Pattern, print, flowers. Okay, we'll go with the flowers. Yeah, okay, so we'll go like this. It'll go from here to here to here, and then the white. So let's do that. There's also this other bright floral color, but I think that's maybe too much. And then these blues, just, you know, that's not screaming our, geez, there's a little thread here. That's not screaming sunshine. So let's just fold this guy up and get him out of the way. Yeah, I still do kind of like that plain color. This kind of blends a little bit more. And I don't know, you guys, I'm kind of tempted to do just the plain. I don't know. You know what? I think I'm going to do the plain. I think it just kind of blends a little bit better. I think I'm just going to do the plain. Then it's not going to call itself out too much over the whole quilt, because, you know, I just wanted little pops of color, and maybe this is just, since we're taking up a pretty large area of the block, maybe it won't, like our eyeballs won't go straight for it in the quilt. Maybe it'll just blend a little bit more. So I think we got it here. So, all right, let's cut. Let's just kind of cut in order. We'll just start here. I'm gonna just go through. So here, let's just make some notes so we know what we're cutting. So the assorted cream squares, that's my white. The assorted print squares, oh, that's all these different colors. Feel free to do all sorts of colors. Like, if you have a bunch of scraps, go ahead and do it like the instructions say, assorted fabric. I'm just sticking, I don't know why I'm sticking to just one color for all of that. Just, I don't know, I thought it'd be kind of pretty just to see what this would look like if all these were the same color and all these were white. just, I don't know, maybe I need some order in my life today. maybe I just don't need all this scattered different colors. So we're gonna stick with just our single colors. So I'm gonna call this the light pattern. Nothing wrong with simplifying something. All right, and yellow print, so that's for this part. I'm just gonna call it yellow. Yellow, and then the one navy striped square, let's call that orange. There, now I kind of have my cutting guides. So I'm gonna just start with this guy on top. Let's just get rid of the easy cuts first. So this is probably the easiest. We need one 2.5 inch square. Let's start there. I'm not sure I even need to press this. Ooh, look how pretty this is. Such a pretty color. Oh my gosh, I love it. I want everything in this color. Okay, so I'm going to just give it a little press. I'm not even sure I need to, because I can just snip a little 2.5 inch square out of that corner. But, you know, we do have the iron going here. Let's just make it extra nice. Get my rulers away from the iron. Okay, there we go. So, 2.5. So I'm gonna just trim the edge here. Ooh, this is cut really off of the grain. I don't know if that's gonna matter much, but I'm gonna just kind of clean it up a little. It's just a really crooked cut here. So let's do, I'm gonna just try and correct it a little bit. We'll do the 2.5 inches on this side. About there. And about there. And now I'm just gonna rotate, and we'll get the 2.5 inches from here. Okay. Trying to line up those edges best I can. Okay. Let's double check that I'm measuring right. Yep, 2.5 inches. I always get a little nervous. Actually, a lot nervous. I get a lot nervous on this cutting stage. But you know, if we waste fabric, we waste fabric. Whatever. There. That's a pretty orange. So that's going to be our center. Yeah, it's in theory a lot of cutting if you do all sorts of different fabrics, but it might actually be a little less cutting if you use a bunch of different fabrics, because you can stack all the different colored fabrics on top of one another and cut it pretty quickly. Oh, Libby! Oh, I don't have mine near me, but I got my needles. I got my sewing machine needles from Mass Drop today as well. They're sitting over at my desk, so I don't have them in front of me. I was going to share that with you guys. But I got my needles in the mail, the Mass Drop needles, so I got 100 of those Schmetz Micro Tex needles. I think I got the 8012s for my machine here, so I'm excited to try those out. I didn't put them in today, but we'll get them in the machine soon. All right, next up, let's do this color. So this is my yellow. I'm just starting from the easiest and going to the hardest. Oh, you ordered your Grippets. Nice, Antoinette. I freaking love my Grippets. Okay, so I need 2 rectangles that are 1.5 inches by 4.5, and then I need more that are 1.5 inches by 2.5. I wonder if I can just cut one really long strip that's 1.5 inches. Oh, I don't really have much of this fabric, do I? I must be using this one a lot. So let's just cut some 1-inch strips and see 1.5 inch strips and see what we have here. Let's just get a ruler here. What are we working with? Okay, let's call it 13 inches. So, okay, that's 9 inches, and then 2.5 inches, and 2.5 inches. That's another 5 inches. So, ooh, it's like 14 inches. Oh, and we're just shy of it. Ooh, maybe I have 14 inches going this way. Oh, not quite there either. So I'm going to have to get almost all my pieces out this way, and then maybe I can get a little chunk from somewhere else on here. Kind of Frankenstein cutting all these blocks yet. If I had a nice new piece of fabric, I would just be able to make a strip real easy and get it done. But I'm using up all these random pieces. I mean, that's how this quilt's going. I picked my fabrics to start out with, and if I keep using them, then they keep getting cut weirder and weirder. Oh, you knew it was this block, Nolene, because it was on Pat's chat, her live chat last week. Funny. Okay, so let's get a nice straight edge here. Looking pretty jaggedy and raw. Ooh, gosh, I slid a little bit at the end there. Ooh, it's a little far away from me. Not quite above, but you know what? Oh well. Oh, gosh, you know what? No, I do want to trim it again. Oh, I'm in perfectionist mode tonight, I can tell. Boo. Alright, I'm just going to give a little itty bitty trim here. Normally, I don't think I would do this, but we're dealing with a tiny 1.5 inch rectangle, and that's probably important that we have it accurate. So there, just trimmed it a little bit more. Alright, so 1.5, and then I'm going to cross cut this to all the pieces that we need. Okay, so instead of flipping it around, the fabric, I'm going to just use the double ruler method here. So I'm measuring with one ruler, butting up the next ruler against that, and moving it off. This one, yeah, this is 1.5 inch. Carefully cutting. All right, there we go. That's our strip, our starting strip. I think we need one more. Like I said, one more somewhere in here. All right, let's. You know what? We're just going to cut all the pieces separately. So I'm going to start by getting my little ruler because I like the lines of this one. So I'm just going to line up the edges here. I'm going to scooch you guys down here so I can see a little bit better. All right. So I'm going to, one of these nice long edges, I'm going to line with the long edge here and then just trim this so we're square. There we go. Now I'll flip it around, and we need 2 4.5 inchers. Let's cut those first. Again, I'm aligning it along one of these straight lines here. 4.5. Okay, 1. Okay, and then some shorter ones, some 2.5 inchers. So this is where I don't have quite enough for 2 with this, which is a bummer. Two and a half, and yeah, this guy's going to be just shy of 2.5. Ah, boo. That guy's not going to work. We'll set him to the side. Actually, I have a scrap. Oops, sorry, you guys. A scrap sitting here from our last block. Is this 2.5 inches? Gosh, not quite. Dang, so that scrap won't work. I guess we're cutting fresh. Okay. Why don't we, this is kind of a weird jagged edge. Let's get it from up there. Yeah, but first I'm gonna give that a little press. It is nice, I mean, you know, some fresh fabric, it makes it really nice to just cut everything you can stack up and cut real quick and pretty, but there is something nice about being able to get a whole pile of blocks out of the same random piece of fabric like this. Okay, so I just made that edge nice and square, and then we'll get our, gosh, I don't have anything underneath here. Nope, okay, 1.5 by 2.5 inch. 1.5, 2.5, there we go. Oh, I love this wool pressing mat. This is definitely one of my favorite buys as of late. I think I got mine from Mass Drop, so I'm sure it'll pop up on Matt. I've been just like, I get everything from Mass Drop now, it's bad. But I'm sure it'll come up on there again for a little cheaper. You might be able to find it on Amazon for cheaper right now. They're not inexpensive, which is a kind of a bummer, these pressing mats. So if you find a sale on them, that'd be the way to go. Okay, here's that. I want to peek at what this looks like. So it looks like these will go around this block. Ooh, it is going to kind of just blend. These are kind of two kind of funny colors next to each other, but I think it'll be kind of cool once we blend out a little bit. So these will have little half square triangle deals, or little triangles on the corners. And we'll actually get a little smaller in here, because remember, we gotta get rid of seam allowance. So our square is going to be kind of itty bitty in there. And that would have been pretty with the flowers too, but I kind of like it solid. It's like the core of the sun, you know what I mean? The solid core of the sun. Okay, so we got all of those trimmed. Next up, let's just add some check marks here. Let's see. We got the yellow prints done, and this is done. Now we are on to the light pattern. Okay, so, oh gosh, I need a whole pile of stuff for this. So 8 rectangles that are 1 1/4 by 3 inches, and 8 squares that are 1 1/2 by 1 1/2 inches. So let's maybe start with the squares. So if they're 1 1/2 inches, that's 8 inches plus 4 inches, so that's 12 inches. So I need at least 12 inches to cross cut for those. So let's see, let's open this guy up. See if we have a strip somewhere that's 12 inches, and maybe over here. Nope, I lost some fabric on the floor. Okay, so this is 14 inches, so that's good. Let's trim from this edge here. Give it a little press over on the side here. So this is the part where you could stack a whole pile of different colors. So if I were to do this not with all the same color, like for the squares, for example, so like 8 assorted squares, I would just stack, I would make sure I have a nice blade, a nice new blade on my rotary cutter, and then I just stack. I'd line up the corners of 8 different pieces of fabric, and I'd trim the 8 like all at once on the 2 sides, then I'd rotate around and trim the other 2 sides, and then I'd have a stack of 8 perfect little squares. So that's why sometimes with the lots of different fabrics, like the assorted, that might actually take less time for us here, but I still like the idea of trying this, sticking to doing one fabric. Like I said, I need some simplicity in life right now, right? So we're homogenizing these colors. All right, so I'm going to, again, get, I don't know why I'm cutting on the back here, but let's get a straight edge. Okay, get rid of that scruffy edge. And let's do, what is it, 1.5 inches again. Okay. So we'll do the double ruler method again so I don't have to move my fabric. 1.5. Okay, looking all right. Okay, we still need that fabric for later. All right, so I'm gonna, just to get more, just to cut less, I'm gonna fold this in half, line up those edges. I'm gonna have to cut to get a nice clean edge there. Just kind of finger press this a bit. And then we'll press here. Charlotte, I think I missed what you said. You spent 30 minutes and then thought, oh, you'd watch hoping there's an easier way. Yeah, I mean, you guys, with the sorted colors, it's actually pretty easy. It's just a matter of stacking up all the layers together. All right. Oh, there it is. Lost my ruler here. Okay, so I have these bottom edges lined up all nice, and let's get some squares out of here. So I'm gonna cut these 4 edges so they're all nice and perfect. Actually, this might be an easier thing to do on my rotating cutting mat, so let's do that. So I can line up those edges again. We'll trim those off. All right. Now, instead of doing the double ruler method, I got this rotating cutting mat. I can just rotate it to the right side. So let's do a couple 1.5-inch squares out of this. There's our first stack. That should be a stack of 4, and then another stack of 4. Good. Oh, geez, my rotary cutter is wide open. Usually I have a habit of immediately closing it, but I didn't just then, which freaks me out. Okay, so we should have 8. Let's just get them all in the same order. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're cute. 5, 6, 7, 8. That one's pretty. All right, so that's ready, and we still need more from this fabric. We need, let's see. Oh, we need 8 rectangles that are 3 inches by 1.25 inches. I think these are ones that we're actually going to cut down. We got this, some of these rectangles that we're cutting now, we're going to be trimming even smaller into these kind of oddball shapes. That's where we're going to get, actually these ones, I think, that's where we're going to get some of these shapes that we'll be working with. So we might actually cut some of these down a little bit more, but for now, let's just cut exactly what it says. So 8, 1.25 by 3 inches. So 8 by 3 inches, that would be 24 inches. So I know I don't have any sides here that are 24, but we could do 2 12 inchers. So we still, this is still 12 inches, right? Is this where we cut off before? So we could do, yeah, I could do 2 strips here that are 1.25. And yeah, cross cut 3 times. Let's do that. So for the template, oh, I think we'll have time to do the template yet tonight. I'm not going to worry about making a full-blown template. I was reading through the instructions. All we really have to do is make, we just have to trace these shapes, basically. So I'm going to just, on my paper here, I'm just going to cut these out exactly, and then I'm going to just use this, and with a pencil, I'm going to trace them I'm not even going to trace. I'm going to outline the edge, like rub up against the edge of all of the pieces that we need to do it with. And I don't think I'll degrade the edge enough by pressing on it that it's going to make a huge difference. So I'm going to just trace them on the back of all my pieces, and then I'm going to trim all the pieces out after that. We're just going to keep it simple. I'm not going to use any template plastic or freezer paper or anything like that. I'm just going to literally cut these two pieces out and then trace them or go around the edge of them with a pencil onto my fabric. I think that'll be a relatively painless, easy way to do it. Okay, let's do this. So the two strips, let's press this first really quickly here again. Lost my scissors. Everything's fallen to the ground today. All right, this is the edge that we just cut, isn't it? I mean, it's getting a little raw, so let's just trim it down again. Always nice to start with a fresh edge. Ooh, although I did move the ruler again a little bit, but we'll deal this time. All right, this time I think we won't do the double ruler method. I'm just going to rotate around here. Okay, what is it? It's 1 1/4 inches here. So I'm going to cut my couple of strips. 1 1/4. Okay, there's one. Shimmy him out of the way. And let's do one more. Whew, it'll be nice to get through all this cutting. We have all the white pieces to cut yet, but man, cutting is my least favorite part of the process here. First of all, it makes me super nervous. You know, and it's dangerous. You're dealing with a sharp blade, but I always get nervous about cutting the right fabric and the right amount, and I don't know, I have to deal with numbers and measurements, and I think late in the day that gets me nervous. So, I don't know. And it's one of those steps where I don't think there's a lot to it. In my head, it doesn't take a long time, but it always takes a long time. All right, I'm gonna do that fold in half thing again. So I've stacked them on top of each other, and I'm gonna get a couple out of here. Let's just finger press that. I can just use my whole cutting mat as a rotating cutting mat. All right, let's get my smaller ruler. I just like this one better. All right, let's clean up that edge. All right, so this should be a stack of 4 now too. Okay. That's my rotating cutting mat this time. All right, and 3 inches. So I need 2 3-inch guys out of here. Yeah, we can easily get that, so that's great. Here's our first. So that's our first stack of 4. Whoop! Didn't want to move that, but looks like it's still in place. And our second stack. So, you know, like how I'm doing a bunch of cuts all at once. You know, I'm cutting through 4 layers. You could do this with your different colors of fabric if you're doing the assorted. Remember, like in the instructions, it says an assorted stack. I'm just doing it all the same. But again, yeah, you could do this the same difference with an assorted amount here. Oh gosh, you lightly brushed your hand on the cutter. Oh my god, that freaks me out more than anything. I've made it a habit that whenever I'm not cutting, I immediately put the safety on. Even if I know I'm going to be cutting again soon, I never try and have this off because I'm so freaked out about cutting myself. That's why, you know, when it was on 2 seconds ago, still, I can't believe I did that. That's way not in my habit. All right, so here's 4. And 8. I think that is all we need for that. Ooh, awesome. So We are almost done cutting out. Not quite, but here are those colors. I think this is going to be pretty though. It's going to kind of go off into the white here. I think that'll be nice. It'll be like a little gradient. Okay, and now we just have all this white to deal with yet. So let's, since we got this out, let's fold it up kind of nice for next time. Ugh, I'm not folding it up nice, but it's folded. All right, last up here. Oh, we need a whole pile of stuff out of here. So we need 16 1.5-inch squares and 8 2-inch squares. Those are pretty big. I wonder what those are used for. 8 2-by-2-inch ones. Oh, those must be these ones that we're going to be cutting out. These odd-shaped ones, I bet. All right. Let's just cut. So, all right, let's undo our fabric here. Oh, we got quite a bit to work with. So, let's see, how long is this? It's about 18 inches, just a hair over 18. So, 2-inch squares, that would be 16 inches. Yeah, 8 2-inch squares, 16 inches. So yeah, so one cut would get us that. So let's just trim from this side, and then we'll deal with those 16 1.5-inch ones. So let's just get this edge relatively flat, and I think I'm going to fold this in half again to cut, mostly because it barely fits on my cutting board, so it'll be easier to cut that way. But it'll go a little faster, I think, too. So we're just going to fold that in half. All right, so I'm going to try and get this folded edge on a nice straight line on my cutting mat. Then hopefully this fold will be, not crooked when I unfold it. All right, let's get that selvage off. Okay, and now I'm gonna, just because I don't want to ruin this edge, I am going to do that double ruler method. So here's the 2 inches. That's looking good. Let's draw the ruler here. Put that up against that ruler. 1, 2, have to count just to make sure. And we'll trim that. Great. All right, and you know what? Since I'm here, why don't we cut that next piece, since I have a nice straight edge here. So that's 1.5 inches, but 16. So that's 16 inches plus another 8 inches. So that's like 24 inches, right? So I don't have quite enough here. So I'm just going to cut, we'll just cut 2 pieces off of here. And I'll just have a pile of extra, and who cares? We'll use it later. But for the ease of getting her done, we'll do it now. So 1.5 inches. Oh, you guys, just so I don't forget, we have a time change coming up on Sunday. So come Monday, we will be starting, oh man, someone help me out. Either an hour earlier or an hour later. I never remember how it works. So if your time changes, I'm still going to be at 8:30. But we fall, oh, see, this always confuses me a little bit. If your time does not change, then what are we? We're either an hour earlier for you or an hour later for you. I never, okay, so an hour earlier, I know it's fall back, but that's all I know is that that's when we turn the clocks back, but that means like our 8:30 is now everyone else's 9:30, right? Who didn't change, or whatever their 9:30 is. So they're an hour later. So I will be on an hour later for everyone that doesn't change time. Does that make sense? I think that's right. I'll be on an hour earlier in my head, but everyone else, if they don't change, they'll be pushed a little bit, right? Yes, it's still 8:30 p.m. Central Time, but if your time does not move, then, like if you're 9:30, if we're both 8:30 now, and then I go back, and then now it's 7:30, and then I have to wait till 8:30, it's going to be your 9:30. Yeah, so I'm going to be, if your time changes, then just go with whatever time it is. I'm still going to be on 8:30, so I'll still be your normal time. If your time does not change, then I will be an hour later than usual. I think that's how it's going to work. All right, let's trim some of these. It doesn't change in some other countries, and some states, and actually some counties don't change either. So if you change the same as me, your time's going to be the same. Like if you're watching me at 7:30 right now, you're still going to watch me at 7:30. If you are watching me at like 9:30 right now and you don't have a time change, like your just days are the same, you will now watch me at like 10:30. I think that's how. I think that. I don't know. I think that's how it's working here. All right, you guys. Let's cut some squares. So anyway, I will fall back. So that's all I know. So start thinking now, because yes, exactly, Leslie, we are all messed up, and I remember this always takes me forever to figure out most but not all the U.S. changes, and not all countries change, and they don't all change at the same time as we do. It's a whole deal. But yeah, so I'm giving you fair warning now that come Monday, you may or may not see me at a different time, which might make a good idea if you are not, if you're not getting notifications right now from me. Go to the Penguin and Fish page on Facebook, not the Penguin and Fish Crafters page, the main Penguin and Fish page. Make sure you've hit the like button, and then right next to the like button is the follow button. And if you click that, make sure to mark on there that you want to be notified. And then your phone should notify you when I'm on. So you'll get at least beeped. And that's once you know what time it really is, then if you want to turn the notifications off, then you'll be good to go. Such a pain. You come in Australia at 11 a.m., so I thought it would be 10 or 11:30. So I think you might be 12:30 though now, because I'm falling back. So here I come on at 8:30 p.m. That's what it is to me. So if I fall back, so if I'm here and you're here, and because we're watching at the same time, and I fall back, to me it'll be 7:30, and I'm not on at 7:30, I'm on at 8:30, so I'm going to let another hour go by, and another hour will go by for you too. So when it's 8:30 by me, it's going to be an hour later for you. So it would be your 12:30, I think. If you're watching at 11:30 a.m. right now and you don't time change, I think you'll be at 12:30. Correct me if I'm totally wrong. But again, maybe a good reason to get the notifications on, because I could be wrong. I don't know. I think my logic's there though, but I always get confused. All right, so this should be our, I think I cut 4. These are all stacks of 4. Yeah, so 4, 8, 16. So here's our 16 white squares, and then let's do these 2 inchers right away as well. Let's use the rotator again. Yeah, there you go. Ask Alexa. All right, I need 8 2-inch squares, so let's just get a nice edge. Again, this is where you could stack all your different cream colors on top of each other, and that would do the job the same way as I'm just stacking the same white color. 2 inches. Gosh, 2 inches looks smaller. Like every time I cut these 2 inches, it's always a little bit bigger in my head. All right, and that should be 8. Yep, that's a stack of 4. Phew, okay, we are cut out. Dang, it's always a, I don't know, kind of a chore. At least, I don't know, cutting's a chore. Just, that's what it is in my head. This is one of those steps that I need to learn to fall in love with. It is kind of nice to see things all in their cute little bits, but not my favorite thing. So, but this will be cute. So we'll go from this white to this kind of creamy pattern to that to that. So we'll have our little kind of ombre thing doing it. Yes, Leslie, you're right. Technically, it'll probably stay the same, your same normal time for most everyone in the U.S. So, you know, because you'll fall back like me, and then we'll all be on at our normal time that you're used to. It'll just, you know, physically be an hour earlier because we fell back. But the numbers on the clock should look the same for most everyone. If you don't do the time change, you're the ones that are going to have to figure out the difference. But everyone else, if you have a time change on Sunday, you will be seeing me normal. Your normal, the numbers on the clock, you'll see me at that normal number. All right. I think the next part is this template, and I wanted to get started on that template tonight to show you guys, but feel good about having everything cut out. All right, plastic templates. We're not going to do that. I'll show you what we'll do. Okay, the A-B patterns on page 29. Trace this obviously, I'm assuming is page 29 in the book. Trace an A template onto each of the A squares. Oh, does it say the A squares? Oh, right here. So here we go, the A squares. Those are the 2-inch whites. So the 2-inch white squares, that's going to be this triangle-y one. And there's a B template on all the B rectangles. So those were the 1 1/4 by 3 inches. So these guys right here. So these are our template pieces. So that's good. That's one step out of the way. Shimmy these guys out of the way so I know we're not dealing with them. We are only dealing with these. So now in your case, remember, this might be all assorted. All my creams are all white and all my assorteds are all the same. So if yours look different, that's why. These are our assorted little bits. Okay, so I'm going to just grab my paper scissors here, and I'm going to just trim these out. And I'm just using these as my template. So I did print these on my color printer, and my color printer happens to have a tiny-tish thicker paper than my normal printer paper. So there's already a tiny bit of thickness to these. But you know, a great way to do this would be to print this page onto a cardstock or something. That'd be a great way to do this, especially then you don't have to trace it to a template, a plastic template or anything. But I think I'll be fine with this. So this you will want to make sure to print at actual size or 100%, whatever it is that your printer wants to not shrink it down. Because this, we're going to want the actual sizes. I'm not going to spiral bind my quilt. I know my book. I know a lot of people like doing that. I should maybe try that sometime. I don't know. I have a weird thing with affecting books. Like, I hate writing in the margins. Like, I don't do that with books, and I don't know, it would freak me out cutting off the binding and spiral binding it, even though I know it would be easier because then I can open the book and lay it flat, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay. So you could really, instead of cutting this out, you could have just left it in the paper, and then just with a light table, or if you have a light color fabric, you could just trace through each one. Like, I could have put this on a light table, laid this on top, and then traced around it. But what I'm going to do instead is, these seem equal on both sides, so I'm not going to care if it's on the front or the back. I'm just going to lay this right on there, and I'm just going to grab my pencil, and I'm just going to trace around the edge. So I'm just going to do that with all of, I believe it's 8 pieces. And yeah, I'm rubbing the pencil against the edge of the paper here, so the paper might get all kind of worn out after a while, but not after 8 little tracings. I don't think we'll have a problem with that. So I'm just going to, you know what? I'm going to try something. I'm going to just trace 2. This is living on the edge, but I'm going to just trace 2. And then I think I'm going to rotary cut through a stack of 4 and see if that works. That might be a really dumb idea, but I just had it and thought, you know, we've been cutting through these stacks. Why not cut through this stack? Oh man, you guys, it is getting so dry. Oh, Patricia, exactly. So I think that's what I'm going to do. There's enough edge on these. I don't trust me going through 8 layers, but I think going through 4. Wow, yeah, it's so dry here all of a sudden that, my throat is just super duper dry. All right, let's give this a go. You know what, I might even use an even smaller ruler just to get right in there. So I'm gonna do, with the rotating cutting mat, I should be able to cut these without things moving too much. Oh man, you guys, I'm sorry. All right, let's cut these long edges first. And then we'll cut those other little jogs out of it. Again, I did close my deal here. I know I haven't gotten we have a pile of humidifiers, and I just haven't spent the time to get any of them out yet, and I think I'm gonna have to tonight. Ugh. I have water around everywhere again. Changes so fast. Okay, and then I want to get these little nicks out of here too, because that'll help us line up the fabric. There, this is way better than cutting a whole pile of them out by hand. Yay, I'm excited about this. This goes so much faster. I think maybe we'll do the other stack really quickly, just so we have all of these pieces done and out of the way. And then I think we'll call it a night. So there we go. A whole pile of A pieces. Let's get the rest of our A pieces, and then we can be completely done with the A pieces. We'll do these B pieces next time we work on this. So tomorrow is Finish It Friday, and that is when on the first Friday of the month, we take a project that we haven't worked on in a while, or just a project that's been sitting around that needs to get done or worked on, an unfinished project, a UFO, we get that out and work on that instead, because, you know, sucks having all those UFOs laying around. So, the Finish It Friday is our chance to kind of open those can of worms and get a little further on them. So tomorrow is the first Friday in November, if you can believe it. It's like crazy town. But we are going to, we're going to work on my doily. So I have that behind me here. I can show you guys that again. I've crocheted this doily out of a whole pile of sulky 12-weight thread. Tiny thread that I've crocheted. I started on vacation just as something to do on the plane, and then I just recently finished it up, just tucking in all the little ends, and now all I have to do is starch it. So tomorrow we'll starch and block it. So I'm gonna I'm gonna clean off this table, I'm gonna lay a towel out. I think I'll I'll clamp a towel to the table here, and then we will dip the doily into starch. Ooh, I better make sure I have starch. And then we will, I'll just stretch it out and pin it down. We're gonna just pin like crazy people tomorrow. But we're gonna get that project done. It'll be done after it dries, and that, it's gonna feel so good. But all right, here's our all of our A pieces. So these are ready to go. We are completely done. Man, that went so much faster just cutting them in stacks here. So we have to do the same thing with these. Maybe I will try going through all, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable going through all 8. We'll do stacks of 4 again. So we'll do that next time we work on that. I'm going to just kind of keep these stacks together. I don't know when we'll work on this quite yet, because I think on Monday when we get back, I would like to continue quilting that for those that Quilt As You Go piece that we've been working on. We'll either do that or we'll work on this a little bit more. So again, we just have to cut out those pieces, and then we can start sewing those pieces together, and then make a pile of half square triangles, and we'll be on our way with there. But that's the big sun block, and here is that doily. So this is that doily. It's done. I've tucked in all the ends, and again, I just want to dip the whole thing into starch, and then we'll start stretching it out and pinning it down, and that's going to take a lot of pinning and a lot of just kind of patience and repinning, but it's a big part of the process, and it'll be just flat and perfect when we're done. I'm pretty excited. It'll be a project checked off the list, which will just feel freaking amazing. So I'm ready for that. So that's tomorrow for Finish It Friday. And then we'll come back to this guy a little bit later again. So, all right, I'm going to flip you around and we'll call it an evening here, guys. There, hello. So thanks again for coming in, everyone. Man, my throat is just going now with that. It's just so dry. I'm going to get all our humidifiers on, I think. I'm going to take a nice hot steamy shower, and then we'll get all of the humidifiers going. Get get it steamed up in here again. But yeah, so we will work on this guy tomorrow. Ooh, it looks cool from far away. I'm excited for it. Yeah, so I just did this all with the the sulky 12-weight floss. I tried to blend the colors a little bit. Some colors blended more than others, but all in all, I think it looks kind of cool. But awesome. So thanks, guys. I will get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies on YouTube if you wanted to see the cutting again and how we did the little template piece. And it will be there later tonight. And then I'll be back here for Finish It Friday tomorrow. And then Monday, it'll be at a new time or the same time, depending on if you have the time change or not. So I'll see you there for that. So hopefully you guys can figure that out. And again, if you're just not sure, go to the Penguin and Fish page. You should probably be there right now. Click the like, and then right next to that, click the follow, and then underneath there should be the notifications to make sure you're getting the notifications. Then you'll know when I'm live because it'll tell you. So, all right, guys, have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.